So I'll be the 420th million person talking about the debates, but dear God, that was a shit show. It was a slap fight, and all three of them lost. I think all three of them lost, and yes, Wallace counts because he was clearly a debater who was covering for Biden. But I was really, I mean, Biden just did what I expect. President Fett, shut up. You're mean. You're a clown. And you had people like Ben who was saying Chris Wallace was fair in the beginning, which I very much disagree with. Right out of the first question about the Supreme Court, Trump answers the question and goes on to Biden. Biden goes off on a rant about healthcare, and Chris Wallace just lets him. Then when Trump jumped ahead of the next question about law and order, he was going, oh, hang on. Well, that's the next topic. Well, so was healthcare, but he didn't interrupt Biden. And the slap fights were just pathetic. I was laughing the whole time, but I laugh more at Trump because at least Trump had like witty insults, whereas Biden just like, shut up, you're mean. But I think the biggest disappointment in the whole thing was Trump. Biden just did what I expected, dude. But Trump had multiple instances where he could have just destroyed Biden, and he dropped it. And they were the easiest answers in the world. And if I'm sitting there on the spot watching, and I could think of the rebuttals for this right then and there, where I was like, Trump has this, he won, it's over. He just dropped the ball completely. All Trump had to do was focus on economics and law and order. He could have dropped the ball on everything else, and no one would care. I'm going to tell you right now, the middle America people, no job, rioting, they don't care about global warming. Global warming is the issue for the rich white progressives who don't live in these areas and don't have to witness the destruction. He could have just killed it on those two topics, then when it goes global warming, he could have gone, I don't know. And he still would have won. And here's the two parts where he could have just ended, and I mean ended the whole debate, where he just massively screwed up. And I think it was in part because Chris Wallace was actually pissing him off. You could see he'd let Biden go, shut up, and then when Trump tried to throw, like, insults back, he would interrupt him. Because when Biden said shut up, I could see Trump, he wanted to do it so bad. And thank God he didn't. But okay, digressing. The point where he could have ended the debate was when Wallace, who conveniently only asked Trump to do this, do you denounce white supremacy and extremism? And he says, sure. And then goes, but do you do it? Who do you want me to denounce? Proud Boys. And he goes, they should stop it. Proud Boys, stand down, stand by, whatever. All he had to do is, I denounce the violence from white supremacists and any violence that the Proud Boys initiated, if they did. Now Biden, condemn the extremist actions of Antifa. Condemn Antifa. And he would have won there, because Biden does not want to say Antifa. He specifically avoids calling them out by name. And then Biden would have been fucked. Because he could have kept going, oh, well, I denounce extremism. And all he had to do is keep going, say Antifa. Denounce Antifa. And then if he finally dragged it out of him, all he had to do is go, why are you and Harris's campaign staff bailing them out? And if Wallace interrupted, he should have just ignored him on that one. He should have pressed him. Look, Biden didn't even want to say, I believe in law and order. Trump kept going, you won't even say it. And he's like, look, I believe in law. And then just kind of stopped there. He didn't even want to say law and order. In the next debate, I swear to God, he better do this. He better press him to say Antifa. And when Biden did say Antifa is not an idea, or is just an idea, it's not a group, that was the point I know. I'm like, okay, thank you for confirming you're working with them. I mean, we already know the campaign staff was having bail funds for the rioters, but that's always the thing Antifa and their allies say when they are confronted, when they are being designated terrorists. They always say the same thing. It's just an idea. It's not a group. There are tons of Antifa cells. It's not one big group, but there are a bunch of independent operating cells. Like, a lot. You can even go to some of their websites, like Rose City, and you can see it says, how to join. So as soon as I heard him say that, I was like, okay, he's working with them, hands down. That confirmed it for me. He also dropped the ball on critical race theory, which again, conveniently, Chris Wallace did not ask Biden about. He did bring up it is a racist ideology that does teach people just to hate America, but he missed so much more. He missed all the parts where it basically says, he missed all the parts like where they're going to white people in these racial sensitivity training meetings and making white people write letters denouncing their white privilege. They're degrading people on the basis of their race. They're telling black people saving for the future, hard work, rational thought is whiteness. All Trump had to say was point that out and go, how can you say that to black people? And not just black people, but all minorities. But no, Chris Wallace really got under him. And you could really tell. And in my opinion, in my honest opinion, and again, I'm speculating, Biden was on uppers and with an earpiece. And debatably fed the questions. Because I see no reason why, when Trump's like, I'll take a drug test, I'll take an earpiece check, and everyone's like, hey, have Joe Rogan moderate. That would be fair and even. He's a pretty neutral guy. And guess what? Trump said yes to all of those things, and Biden said no, and there was no reason to say that. So the debate was really more like Chris Wallace, Biden, and whoever was in the earpiece and versus Trump. And I really don't trust Fox News since they hired Donna Brazile, who did the same thing in 2016 with Clinton. Oh my god. Trump better come back and kill it next time. Because he was not prepped for this at all. It was really getting frustrating to watch. Although the slap fights were really, really funny.